I want to welcome y'all to the channel. My name is the Movie Guru, and if you guys are like me, I'm a big fan of the show From, and really been enjoying the thrill, the mystery, and the acting on the show. Great storyline, great twist. They're really keeping the internet guessing. There's been tons and tons of theories, and I wanted to throw my hat in the ring and discuss with everyone listening a new theory that I came up with today based on some facts on some YouTube videos that I watched and also some Reddit that I read and also some comments that pointed out a lot of good things. The first thing I want to point out is Jim a villain? Now, you might think I'm targeting this somewhat supportive father of seemingly three, right now just two, but it's not the case. To me, Jim has just been unfazed by any of this, from what's going on when they first pulled up to seeing the tree. He really didn't have any answers, or if you look at it this way, just wasn't trying to give them. The son did say, "Hey, why is that tree there?" He just said, "Oh." I mean, I feel like someone who stumbled across that, you would have been a little bit more descriptive. He crashed the van. I didn't feel like that head-on collision was even that close. And someone else was pointing out that there's a possibility that it was on purpose and that spot was pre-planned, so to speak. Then if you look, when they were inside the RV and they were pulling, the piece of metal from the boy's leg, Jim was extremely interested in finding out what was outside and opening the door, even to the point where the nurse had a nightmare about Jim opening the door. I feel like he's wasting time with the battery. He's not really helping, and he's really willing to put the whole project on his back, and he really shouldn't. And this is rare because we see a lot of other people working together, and I'm assuming that they're also from all walks of life, and there's probably more than one engineer. And then he's getting the town super involved with the tower, and people are starting to believe, and it could really end badly if they don't get something from that. And it looks like he's setting the punchline up for the joke, and it's going to be on them. His wife is pretty much digging away to China in the basement of the house. I mean, when she started digging, I had no idea it was going to reach those depths. That's a big tunnel. He's seemingly unfazed by that or uninterested to really help. I've seen the daughter down there. I've seen the wife down there, but I haven't seen him down there. Now I may have to go back and look, and he may have actually been in there, but I would say I don't see. I saw him helping with the bucket at the top, but not actually digging. And so there's things that I'm seeing him do that just don't make sense. And one of the we have to look at what are the clues that we do have. And the clues that we have are that there are people who are not who they seem to be. We see this with the monsters. More so when the girls run into the house and she sees the one monster who seemingly is there waiting for her and then steps out and says, "Hey, don't you remember me?" And it's been speculated that this could be her brother that passed, kind of grown up now. But I thought that he might have been older, but I'm guessing she was the oldest. So that was, and then so that's one theory that is a possibility as far as everyone not being who they say they could be. And so, how could it not be that Jim could be someone else, or even someone else in the village? I think it's also interesting about the food because that comes to a bigger question of where they're getting it from. Now there's another movie that's not related, but it's about a plane being crashed in the mountains, and it was a hockey team or a basketball team, and they pretty much had to survive through cannibalism. Now that's a real question here. And now if this is reality based, now we know it has some supernatural elements to it, so I can't necessarily say it's reality based. But you would have to assume that the amount of people dying, they would also be consuming as well. Now I know that's crazy to think, but that at the colony house did lose 14 people. I mean, that is a lot. So it could be that. I mean, but then again, um, the other cop said, I think his name was Henry or Harry. He said, they don't know where the cows and chickens come from. So there is a cow and there's a chicken. But we have to assume that because just how it's set up, there's a nonstop supply. Like you would see more teams going to get more food. We did hear him say going for a supply run, going somewhere to get supplies. I mean, he didn't say he was going to go behind and kill a cow or just find a cow, but he said he was going to go on a supply run. So it could be a factor that all the people that work at the diner are somewhat villains that they don't know. I mean, think about it. Sarah did work at the diner. Now the mom works at the diner and she just seems to hold her ground when they were trying to break in there and take the stuff back. She seems to operate flawlessly and be relatively left alone. She seems to have a lot of faith in the town. When Jade and her were having the conversation, he was explaining how he needed electricity. She kind of just walked over to the light and hit the switch and said, "Hey, you need electricity there." And then going to the stove, it was electric stove and was cooking, and or might have been gas, but I thought it was electric as well. It make more sense to be electric. And so she was pretty much, "Hey, this is going to work regardless." And so I want to think that she might be in on it, or she could not be who she thinks she is. And then that also would lead a bigger question that also, let me see if I can find his name. Oh, Kenny. Kenny might not be who he says he is. So Kenny, Jim, and Sarah, uh, and then Father Catry, because Father Catry was already there when Boyd came in. And then we didn't see Kenny and his family arrive, but he explained the story. And so his mom could have, and Kenny as well, could have been other people, as well as Jim. And Ethan was the boy's name. And so that's what I think. I think that there are some people there. I mean, we have seen that. I mean, with the when the first girl got killed, she thought it was her grandmother, and I'm assuming the guy who opened the window at Colony House, I'm assuming that girl was his girlfriend in the real world. And so they're tricking and manipulating them. But I think that there also can be real people. So it could be like the family could think that Jim, that's still Jim, and it's not. Um, Kenny could be thinking that's his mom, but it's not. Just little things like that. And then the other thing I wanted to look at was when you see the bodies, and I know it's crazy to talk about, and maybe I can go to a picture. When you see the bodies, it doesn't necessarily look like they're being eaten, because they would be in a pool. If they were being eaten, they'd be in a pool of blood. It would be down. It seems like whatever is with them is blasting out, and more so, like the rib cage exposed and blood filling the room from whatever's going on, instead of you know the rib cage being in, or even where the just sort of how the wounds are. And so it could be something being put in them, sort of like an alien type of deal, and then something bursting out, feeding off the organs and bursting out. And the reason why I say that is because the girl did kiss the guy when in the colony house, when he he was glamored and he opened the window. The girl did kiss him. Now she could have implanted something in his mouth. She bit his tongue off, I believe, but she could have also slipped him to something as well. And so that is a theory for sort of what the monsters are doing with the bodies. Are they really just killing them? And now it is true to say that Father Cadre did get slashed. He didn't get eaten, or his organs weren't missing. He was more so slashed and then died from his wounds. And that is a possibility that it was kind of set up, because remember, like I said, when the girl was running towards the colony house, her brother was waiting there, so they must have known that Kadri was going to be there, and his ghost or doppelganger, or he, even if he is in on it as well, sent someone to take him away from the others and make it seemingly he was dead. Because remember, if there's something underground and you put him in the ground, couldn't they just pull him down? Couldn't they dig up? Right? If they, because remember, Victor was like, I'm just getting a head start. So he was already digging the graves. So they put the dirt on him and they could faster pull it down. I mean, there's tons and tons of stories that I guess you could talk about it. I wanted to talk about Jim being a villain. That's one of my theories. But that might be such a deep theory. We might not catch that until the end of season 2. I wanted to talk about where the food was coming from, because there's a possibility that they're eating some of the other people. And where is Victor? Now, I wanted to talk about where Victor could possibly be. I don't think he left the realm or the pocket dimension or whatever type of situation they're in. The odds are pretty high that he went to that underground bunker. So I think he got teleported to the underground bunker and he just stayed there. Like, hey, look, there might not be the best time for me to go. I don't think he went anyplace else too far. Now, they did say in the trailer or in the intro, there's a black house with overgrown weeds or vines, and they were saying there is a possibility that that could be where Victor is. But then I guess, why wouldn't he go sooner? Why would he be living at Colony House, not just living at that house, if he so likes to be alone? So I don't think that Victor is one of the monsters. Like, I don't think Jim is one of the monsters. I think they're entirely something on their own, but involved in everything that goes on. And then the last one I'll get into before I try to make this as quick as possible. What are the spiders? Okay. I mean, there was a good hint that from look when Ethan was on the table and he was talking to his mom and his sister, and they were looking through the paper, and he was saying how this is a quest, and in order to find the answer we have to look through the pictures. And I think what one of the pictures was a spider, and it was a rain, and so it looked like, the nursery rhyme, down came the rain and washed the spider out. And then someone else pointed out that the day that Jim and the Matthews family arrived, it was raining. And so could that have been the spider? And then, meaning Jim or even Ethan, I would say. I wouldn't say the daughter. And then coming in and sort of washing them out, washing everyone else out. And then, in come the flood of monsters, everyone having to hide, right, as they do. And then, Victor sort of trying to work to solve it in his own way, or even create what's going on, I would say, maybe. But that's and so that's why I think that the spiders sort of symbolize Jim. And I guess everyone always makes it plural, but it looked like in the picture it was just one spider. So it looked like it just could be one person. I think that's what Jim is. And I guess if I was just to look at the majority of these covers, I mean, Jim is pretty much no, he's not in all of them. After 4 is Jim. No, it's just Jim and on 2 of them. But then here, if you even look at 10, it looks like the spiders. So we have a kind of Batman and Bruce Wayne situation going on. I'm not saying that Jim's a spider, but I've never seen Jim and a spider in the same place. I'm not saying Victor is the boy in the little boy in the white, but I just never seen him and the little boy in the white at the same time. It's one of those situations. So we could definitely get a lot. But as you can see here, Boyd is looking up, and it seems like he actually has a lot more gray. Maybe maybe that's maybe no, he has a lot of gray. And also too wanted to point out with Boyd, he was going on he was retiring from the military, but then on one of his first or second episode, he's like, I gotta go, my hand's getting worse. You know, I am he has early signs of some illness or sickness. But it seems like you just retired, like a week after you retire, all of a sudden your symptoms are full blown. Like, man. And it does. I'm looking at his picture from episode 5 to episode 1. His beard does look more fuller and black here, and then, but that just could be some of the shadowing. But I'm trying to really see if this last picture on season 10 is a long, long picture, like how long he might have been aging out there. So it could have been something else. But still, there's only one way to find out, and that's on Sunday. So I think the spider is Jim, who came with the family. I think that Victor's in the bunker. I think that Jim is a villain. And I think that there's a strong possibility that some of the people are not who they say they are, and that they're eating people. All right. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. These are just some of my thoughts. Drop the like, surprise. I am the movie guru. You can find me on Twitter at movie underscore guru underscore. And I talk movies and retweet and do live watches. So thank you guys for checking this out. Until next time.